According to Ibn Arabi, speaking with Allah is not a metaphor. It is the soul's most natural conversation. Every moment he addresses his creation through signs, through silence, through the pulse of the heart. The question is not whether Allah speaks, but whether we have learned how to listen. The saints of every age have heard this divine address not through their ears, but through the depth of their being, through the language of love. And Rabi reminds us the speech of God never ceases. Only the hearts that hear it fall asleep. When you turn toward Allah in prayer, do not speak to Him as though He were distant. Speak to Him as a child speaks to its mother, in trust, in need, in simplicity. He does not demand eloquence. He desires sincerity. A single tear of longing is worth more than 1,000 polished words. But when we ask only for the world, for ease, for gain, we close the ear of the heart. We become like children who love their mother's gifts but not her presence. If you seek Allah Himself, not His favors, not His miracles, but Him, then even silence becomes an answer and the heart begins to hear. Ibn Arabi said that true prayer is not a request but a meeting. It is when your longing and His mercy find each other. When you pray with full certainty that He hears you, then even the whisper of your heart echoes through eternity. Remember, Allah never turns away from one who calls upon Him with love. If your prayers seem unanswered, it is only because He wishes to deepen your calling. He is like the hidden beloved who delays his reply so that the lover may long more deeply. Do not mistake His silence for absence. It is His way of drawing you closer. Real prayer does not come from the lips, but from the soul. It is when every cell in your body cries out La ilaha ant, and when that cry is sincere, the universe itself responds. Ibn Arabi tells a story of a seeker who prayed for years without hearing a reply. Finally, in despair, he said, "My Lord, why do you not answer me?" A voice within replied, who said, "I have been silent every time you said, Ya Allah. I said, Labike, O my servant, but you listened only for sound, and I was speaking in your stillness." The truth is, every longing for Allah is already His answer. The one who prays and the one who answers are not two. They are one dialogue. For Allah says, "I am nearer to you than your jugular vein." So when you speak to Him, speak as one who knows this. Let your faith be like the faith of the child who knows its mother will come when it cries. Speak with certainty, not with doubt, for doubt clouds the heart, and a clouded heart cannot reflect the divine light. If you ask, "Will Allah truly answer me?" know that the question itself is His way of reminding you that He already has. He is the question and the answer, the seeker and the sought, the silence and the reply. Yogananda once saw divine light behind closed eyes. Ibn Arabi would say that light is the nur of al-khalq, the light that said, "I was a hidden treasure and I loved to be known." That light is in every heart. It is the first language between the soul and its Lord. And when that light speaks within you, do not ask, "Who is this?" For the voice will always answer, "It is I, and there is no other." Most people, when they close their eyes, see only darkness, but the darkness itself is only a veil before the dawn of divine sight. When the gaze of the heart turns inward and focuses upon the Sir, the secret point between the brows, then the inner vision awakens and the unseen world opens. This is the beginning of Kashf, unveiling the birth of the eye that sees without seeing. Ibn Arabi says, when the heart becomes clear, it becomes a mirror to the invisible. The unseen begins to visit the seen. In that inner light, angels, saints, and divine presences are revealed, not as fantasies, but as reflections of the eternal within us. For the world of spirits is not somewhere else. It is folded within this very moment, waiting for the eyes of the soul to open. How to truly commune with Allah. When your focus deepens, when your heart becomes still, you begin to hear the speech that has never ceased, the kalam of the real echoing through creation. It is not that he was ever silent. It is that our hearts were too noisy to hear. When you strip away distraction, desire, and doubt, his whisper rises in you like dawn over a quiet sea. But he tests you. Oh yes, he tests you. For the beloved wants to know, do you desire him or do you desire from him? As long as your prayer is bargaining, the gate remains closed. But the moment you love him for his own sake, when you say, even if you give me nothing, I will still love you, then the veils tremble and his voice descends into your heart like light upon still water. Ibn Arabi teaches that Allah does not ask for your worship. He asks for your love freely given, for compulsion has no place in love. The whole of existence, he says, is a divine game, a mirror in which the hidden treasure wished to be known, and he cannot be known except through the lover's gaze. The real has everything dominion over galaxies, eternity itself, but he does not have your love until you offer it. That is why yearning was written into the soul. We cry not because we are weak, but because he planted his memory within us. And every tear is that memory trying to return home. When you love only his gifts and forget the giver, you walk in illusion. But when you love him above all, the gifts no longer distract. They become signs, pathways back to him. This is why suffering visits us not as punishment, but as a reminder. There is nothing here but me. Allah is the essence of your being. Until you feel him within, you will wander from joy to joy, thirst unquenched. Nothing of this world will satisfy you, for you are made of something infinite. As Ibn Arabi said, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean hidden in a drop. The saints do not learn from books. They learn from the book of the heart, whose author is the divine himself. Their words pierce through because they are not learned. They are revealed. They speak from what has been lived, not studied. The path to Allah is the path of ishq, divine love, and of trust that never waver. When you seek him with your whole being, he reveals himself not through logic, but through intimacy. And when his nearness arrives, no proof is needed. The heart knows its home. His communication is ceaseless through the wind, through a sigh, through the rhythm of your own breath. He speaks in the language of vibration, the sacred pulse that keeps all of creation alive. For to speak is to vibrate, and Allah's vibration sustained every atom. He speaks through the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And through them he says, I am the hidden weaving in the visible. Every stone, every flame, every drop of rain, every gust of wind is his word in motion. What we call matter is only the thickened echo of his breath. And when you listen deeply enough, you will hear that everything, every atom, every leaf, every heartbeat is reciting Laha. All that you see as matter, the stone, the mountain, the star, is but the dense form of God's breath. The universe is not solid. It is the condensation of his speaking. Every atom is a syllable in the divine word that never ceases. Ibn Arabi called this Nafas al-Rahman, the breath of the All-Merciful. It is the living wind through which Allah gives existence to everything. So yes, the Beloved speaks not from beyond the sky, but from within the pulse of being itself. Every leaf that trembles, every flame that flickers, every wave that rises, it is all his voice saying be. But how do we learn to listen? That is the secret work of the seeker. You speak to a stone and it is silent. You whisper to a flower and it sways but says nothing. Yet both have heard you, for both are alive with his command. Shall the one who made stone and flower be less responsive than his own creation? Never. It is not he who is silent. It is we who have forgotten how to hear, why we cannot hear, and how to return. The divine call is constant, but our receiver, the heart, is rusted with noise. Allah's voice does not enter through the ears, but through stillness. He speaks through how, not through sound. When your heart trembles in awe, when peace floods you without reason, when a verse or a sunset moves you to tears, that is his reply. The saints hear him not because they are special, but because their hearts have become mirrors, clear enough to reflect his light. If you wish to hear, cleanse your awareness until it becomes transparent again. Polish it with remembrance. Soften it with prayer. And one day you will feel the vibration that never began and never ends. Once said that prayer is not asking, it is aligning. When the lover aligns their longing with the beloved's will, the whole cosmos responds. Your prayer becomes an echo of his own desire to reveal himself through you. In that harmony, speech and response are one. God does not use lips or tongues to reply. He answers through vibration, the resonance of mercy in your chest. If you pray in Arabic, his answer will arrive in Arabic. If you pray in silence, his answer will arrive as silence, luminous and complete. For all languages are but waves of his single ocean of energy. Vibration is thought. Thought is energy. Energy is divine. So when you say yab, it is not sound traveling through air. It is energy returning to its source, and the source responding by expanding your heart until it can contain the reply. And why, you ask, does he delay? Because love must ripen before union. The beloved waits to see whether your cry is fleeting or eternal. When your longing becomes unbearable, when no comfort, no distraction, no gift can soothe you, then the veil falls, and the one you sought steps forward saying, "Here I am." Ibn Arabi said, Allah loves to be known, but he is only known by those who love without condition. If you cry to him as the child who refuses every toy until the mother comes, then even the throne itself will move to answer your call. Most of us pray with half a heart, our lips moving while our minds chase worldly noise. But the real does not answer the distracted. He listens to the heart that burns, the soul that cannot rest without him. If you would truly hear, become that burning heart, and he will reply not from afar, but from within your own silence. When the heart cries day and night, not for comfort, but for the face of the beloved, Allah appears, not from afar, but from within. He listens, he responds, and he unveils himself to the one who refuses to love anything else. Say to him, O Lord, unveil thyself to me. Do not leave me with signs when I long for the signless. Repeat this again and again, not from the tongue, but from the wound in your heart. At first he may grant you gifts, wealth, peace, answers to your small prayers, as if to whisper, I hear you. But do not stop there. Say, My Lord, I want not your gifts, but you. I seek the giver, not the gift. Then the real miracle begins. You will see him in faces, in dreams, in the silence between heartbeats. His speech will not come as thunder, but as stillness that speaks. And in that stillness you will know this is no imagination. This is conversation with the real, but such hearing requires burning. No teacher can give you this thirst. It must rise from within like a desert longing for rain. When your yearning becomes unbearable, when you cry for him more than you cry for relief, then the veil itself bends to listen. Ibn Arabi said, "The lover's call is the echo of God's desire to be known. He seeks you through your seeking. He hides so that your longing may grow wings. When your love ripens into surrender, when you say, 'I will not rest until you are mine,' then the hidden treasure reveals his face in the mirror of your heart." Why most people never hear, and how the lover learns to listen. Most people do not hear God, not because he is silent, but because they do not believe he could ever speak to them. Their disbelief is a wall built by the mind. But when certainty takes root, when you know beyond thought that Allah answers every call, the wall crumbles and the beloved's whisper enters like fragrance through a broken door. Despair writes its own defeat, but persistence is prayer's proof of faith. The one who refuses to stop knocking finds that the door was never locked. The Sufis say there is a sound beneath all sounds, the eternal who. It is the breath of the all-merciful, the heartbeat of existence. This is the voice of God echoing through every atom. When you still yourself in remembrance, this vibration begins to take shape within you, sometimes as light, sometimes as words, sometimes as a sweetness with no source. If you listen in silence, you will hear it say, "Call upon me and I will answer you. Speak to me not from your tongue, but from your silence." Every prayer that rises from the soul returns as a response from the same depth. When you whisper, "Ya Rab, speak to me," the reply may come not as sound, but as a warmth in your chest, a peace that tells you he has heard. Pray with full seriousness. Let your longing be your only language. Even if he answers but once, even if the voice within says only, "My beloved, I am coming," that single word will change your eternity. You will never again feel alone, for you will know that the universe itself is a dialogue, and every star, every silence, every breath is part of that conversation. And yes, the Quran has already declared this truth. Is he not the one who answers the distressed when they call upon him and removes their affliction? So cry not as one uncertain, but as one already heard. Let your tears wash the dust from the ear of your heart, and you will find the voice has been calling you since before you were born.